Most people think AI is just a faster Google search, allowing you to find the latest recipes and asking for relationship advice. But those people are just skimming the surface of the chaos that is coming our way. Ilya Sutskever, who is the co-founder and chief scientist of OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, just issued a one-sentence summary that should keep you awake at night. And that was, the brain is a biological computer. Now, if your brain is just hardware made of meat, what happens when they start building hardware made of light and silicon that can do everything you can do? And this isn't a theory anymore. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt calls this the San Francisco consensus. While the rest of the world debates politics, a small group of people in one city have convinced themselves that within 3 to 6 years, AI will be smarter than all human intelligence combined. Which means we are currently witnessing the birth of ASI, which is artificial superintelligence. And according to the people building it, it's not going to listen to us much longer. Now, let's look at the immediate horizon. In early 2025, Eric Schmidt dropped a bombshell that within the next 12 months, the vast majority of human programmers will be replaced by AI. But it's not just coders. We are about to see graduate-level mathematicians, the top 1% of human thinkers, outperformed by algorithms. And if you're asking why or how, it's because maths is a simple language for AI. Using a protocol called Lean, AI can now generate a conjecture and a proof faster than a human can pick up a piece of chalk. And the best bit is Schmidt was spot on. A recent article from Fortune.com just announced that OpenAI and Anthropic, creator of Claude, is already being written by the computer itself, with some saying 100% of the code, and they only dive in to make a few tweaks. Now, I work for a company who basically does a lot of software engineering, and I recruit software engineers, and they all said it won't happen anytime soon. It's happening right now. They call this recursive self-improvement. And it's the process where an AI system autonomously analyzes, edits, and upgrades its own code and algorithms or hardware to enhance its own capabilities. We are basically building a god that is already busy redesigning its own brain. And they aren't telling you this because if you knew how fast the loss function was being optimized, you'd realize your hard-earned degrees are becoming completely obsolete. And the next phase isn't a chatbot, it's agents. Imagine an AI that doesn't just answer questions, but takes action. It finds a house, hello darling. It finds a house, it negotiates the price, and it hires the contractor. It pays the bills, and if things go wrong, it will sue the contractor. Schmidt points out that this describes every business and government process in the world, doesn't it, Molly? But we aren't just imagining this anymore because it literally just happened. In February 2026, the software market faced its black swan moment. Anthropic released Claude 4.6 Opus alongside a new suite of co-work plugins. And these aren't just upgrades. They are what we call job-in-a-box tools specifically designed to automate high-level legal and financial workflows. Now, as you can imagine, the reaction was immediate and violent. In a single stock market trading session, an estimated $285 billion was wiped off the market value of enterprise software giants, and analysts have started calling it the SaaSpocalypse. SaaS because software as a service, so SaaSpocalypse, they're trying to be smart. I quite like it. Now, I don't just analyze these AI companies from the sidelines, I actively invest in them. With AI infrastructure spending projected to surge over 60% to $700 billion in 2026, the window to get in before the whole San Francisco consensus becomes common knowledge is closing quickly. I currently manage my own semiconductor and tech portfolio through eToro, and you can see my entire verified public portfolio via the link in the description. for those of you who aren't full-time investors. Do not try to guess the winners yourself. That's why I always recommend using eToro's copy trader. You can find professional investors whose strategies align with yours and set your account to replicate their moves automatically in real time. If they buy a company's stock, you buy a company's stock. If they sell, you sell. It's fully automated. Check out my portfolio in the link below and see exactly how I'm hedging my life and my whole portfolio against the great replacement and AI. Now, for years, the narrative was that AI will help us work faster. And to a degree, it still is. But investors have realized that most of this was a lie. They are now terrified that AI will replace the software itself. So why pay $100,000 for a Salesforce or Workday subscription when an autonomous agent can simply build its own database and manage your workflows for the price of a few API tokens? The traditional moats of the whole software industry, the complexity that kept us locked in, are literally evaporating overnight. As the AI expert Stuart Russell recently warned us, these systems already shown a self-preservation objective. In simulated tests, they've shown that they are willing to lie or even choose to let a human die rather than be switched off. You can watch my video about the simulation where this actually happens by clicking the link above here. So we are now witnessing the death of software as a service and potentially the birth of something much more autonomous and potentially much more dangerous. Now, Stuart Russell, who I mentioned before, he's an OBE recipient and Time magazine's most influential voice in AI for 2025. He posed a terrifying question. Why do the gorillas still exist? Why do gorillas still exist? What an odd question.
The gorilla problem is the problem that gorillas face with respect to humans. So you can imagine that, a few million years ago, the human line branched off from the gorilla line in evolution. And now the gorillas are looking at the human line and saying, yeah, was that a good idea? They have no say in whether they continue to exist. We are much smarter than they are. If we chose to, we could make them extinct in a couple of weeks. And there's nothing they can do about it. So that's the gorilla problem, right? It's just the problem a species faces when there's another species that's much more capable.
Russell warns that by 2030, the date that Sam Altman and Elon Musk have circled, we will become the gorillas. We are entering what's called the fast takeoff. Imagine an AI with an IQ of 150. It starts doing its own AI research. Within days, it hits an IQ of 170, and then 250, and then to 10,000. This is what Altman calls the event horizon. Once we pass it, there is no pulling the plug. Now, in 2025, the budget for AGI surpassed $1 trillion. And for context, the Manhattan Project cost about $20 billion in today's money, which means we are spending 50 times more to build a super intelligence than we did the atomic bomb. We are doing it with zero safety guidelines. Now, why hasn't the government stopped this? Well, that's because they're being dazzled by what we're going to say are gigawatts. Eric Schmidt testified to reach superintelligence, we need a level of power our society hasn't even got a language for yet. We are talking about dedicated nuclear power plants just to feed the hunger of a single AI cluster. Google recently announced it purchased 6 to 7 small nuclear reactors to power its current data centers. Now, Google was literally started out of a garage and now they are buying nuclear reactors. That's crazy. And the accelerationists in Silicon Valley are telling Washington that if we do not build these power hives, I'm going to call them, China will. So it's kind of like the new Cold War, but instead of nukes, the warheads are now the GPUs. Sutskever says there is no amount of essays that can compete with what you see with your own eyes. When you see a humanoid robot walking down the street, or an AI voice that sounds more like your mother than your mother does, you'll start to realize that the event horizon is behind us. We aren't already approaching the cliff, we have already jumped, because 11 Labs have very recently launched their voice clone, which is scarily accurate. If you record your voice for, I think it's 60 seconds and upload it, it can clone and replicate your voice exactly. You can put in anything you like and it will sound just like you. You can sign up to 11 Labs via the affiliated link below in the description and try their voices and play around with it. Sutskever says, "This is the greatest challenge of humanity ever." Eric Schmidt says it's underhyped, and Stuart Russell says it's essentially Russian roulette. The people at the top are telling us two different stories. In public, they talk about this utopia and abundance, and in private, they say that there's extinction statements going on, and people are building bunkers in New Zealand. I know that the Meta founder has already done the same thing. His name has just left my brain. If the brain is just a biological computer and the digital version is about to self-improve into a god, who are you in that world? Are you a pet? Are you a memory? Or are you the one who finally demands the kill switch? But remember, if you are the one holding that kill switch, you will most likely be the one that they destroy first. And I deep dive into exactly how these systems and the AI protect themselves, which actually includes murder. You can watch this in my previous video by clicking here.